Peace, beloved. Peace, beloved. It's your man, Seiko Varner, the Power Broker, back with another episode of the Fly Guys Show. And look, today I have with me Pretty Blue Eyes, and I have DJ Wright. So today is a really intriguing conversation because we're going to discuss COVID-19, coronavirus, and these two individuals who had victory, who didn't get knocked down and taken out. So we want to take a moment just to give recognition and memorial to those who became ancestors because of the COVID-19 coronavirus.
Yeah.
And now we want to celebrate these two individuals and everyone else who's still in the mix, who's still in the fight, who's still here with us. We're so glad you're here. Pretty Blue Eyes. Introduce yourself, Queen.
Hi, how are you? How is everybody? My name's Denise, and I had a mild case of coronavirus, and I beat it. I beat it in under a week, and
yeah,
I did everything I had to do.
Yeah, and also you're a CNA. You're a CNA nurse at a urgent care facility, right?
Yes,
so,
I am.
So you're first of all, thank you. I mean, they've been saying that for all of the healthcare workers. Thank you for being on the front lines because you're pretty much the first person that a patient sees. So, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
Salute you.
Thank
we
you.
Salute you.
Thank you.
And we have DJ Wright, DJ J Wright. J Wright and I went to Hampton University together, class of 1990 Dynasty, the best class. J Wright, you were out for about a month, right?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, things were hitting me for about a month. And also, I have underlying conditions. I mean, a lot of African American families, they have a high blood pressure, diabetes and stuff like that. So, I'm no different than the rest. And also, I'm a big guy, AKA overweight. You know what I'm saying? I'm 6'3". So it's, all of that, I think probably came into play as far as why it affected me longer,
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's start with Denise. Tell us about your experience. How did you find out that you had COVID-19, and what did you do?
Okay, so pretty much, you can be a carrier and you can, not have symptoms but be contagious, within like the 4 to 5 day period. I think just from bringing in patients that had pneumonia and had all the symptoms of COVID, I'm sure that's how I contracted it. At this point, it's everywhere. And, I woke up on a weekend and I just, throughout the day, I just developed a really high fever, body aches, nausea, loss of appetite, chills, all the symptoms. I didn't have any shortness of breath or cough, but I did have all the other stuff. And, it was worrisome. As the day went on, my fever got worse, the body aches got worse, and I called the doctor and they started me on a medication. And, I did everything I was supposed to do. And within, I would say 72 hours, I was starting to feel better. Not as bad as, Mr. Wright over there, but I felt a lot better I would say within 4 days, I started to feel better, 100%. So I had a very mild case, but like I said, I started the antibiotic right away. So
you took the Z-Pack because I've been hearing about that a lot. The Z-Pack.
Yes, I took the Z-Pack. I did, lots of green tea, honey, ginger, lemon, a lot of hot showers, a lot of steam, a lot of chicken broth. I did a lot of, like the homeopathic stuff as well as the medication, but
also, we follow each other on Instagram. I see you work out. You work out a lot more. Do you think that you exercising, and jogging and running and all that stuff, do you think that came into play?
Yeah, I mean, I think to a certain extent, as long as you try to exercise, you try to eat healthy, take your vitamins, drink a lot of water, flush everything out of your system, I think that plays a big role in, your immune system and, beating infections faster than somebody that, is just laying around and not exercising, not eating right.
Right.
It definitely helps. I think it definitely helps. I haven't been exercising as much, but you know, I try to do little things here and there.
Right. Now, where do you think, one quick question, and do you think you caught it at work, being, like I said, you're a CNA, so, you know, do you think you caught it from a patient that came in, and how heavy has the traffic been with Corona in your office?
I definitely think I contracted it at work because, you know, all the patients had the symptoms. A lot of people with pneumonia, a lot of people with, you know, we we don't have a heavy volume of patients. A lot of people are staying home, but the patients that did come in were all sick with the same symptoms. So I'm sure that's where I got it from, because other than work, you know, I just come home, you know,
And
work, and that's it. So,
yeah.
you know.
And were you wearing the what is it, the M95 mask or N95?
Yes.
So you were wearing that and you still caught it. So how effective is that? Everybody keeps screaming that they need it and you caught it.
Well, you know, I have to say in the beginning, we were very short on N95 masks. So when this all broke out, I would say the first 2 weeks, I was reusing the same two masks that I was, you know, spraying down with some Lysol.
Wow.
You know, and once, you know, we got a shipment and then we were fine. But, you know, maybe those first few weeks reusing the same mask with the same bacteria on it, it just, I don't know. I mean, it's inevitable because the virus is everywhere. So no matter how much we bleach and clean and wear gloves and sanitize, you know, at some point this little virus gets in holes and gets in somewhere. You know, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Did you have a question, bro?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you had access to the Z-Pack, is that something that everyone has access to? And I'm noticing when I look through your Instagram page, yeah, it looks like you were really involved in healthy activity. So, and you're wearing, you know, it looks like that perfect mask. What is it, N95?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I did all the right things.
Blown away.
Yeah, I did all the right things. You know, it's like I said, it's inevitable. The virus is everywhere. It's hard not to get it. But some people, there's no rhyme or reason. Some people just get over it faster than others. I mean, maybe it depends on your immune system, or like DJ Wright said, maybe, you know, underlying factors, obesity, or, you know, your ethnicity, you know, under any underlying medical conditions. But like I said, for me it was very mild. It was done in, like, I would say 72 hours. You know, I tried to be healthy. I tried to, you know, take a lot of vitamins, flush it out with tons of tea and water, and, you know, I did everything the best I could do. But I guess your immune system and, you know, your body just plays a big role in everything, you know.
Okay. All right. There was something I was going to ask you, but I forgot. And one thing I did want to say, oh, you know, I remember what it was, but one thing I did want to say.
That's interesting because, Jay, you mentioned that having COVID-19, you've gotten a kind of loopy. You know, so we excuse you for your loopiness, man.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, you know, simple, basic tasks that require like mental concentration, I could not do it. You know, like this, you know, paperwork and forms that I need to fill out online, and you know, I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. Like simple tasks and stuff. Like you know, I would have to go get something from the kitchen, right? I'd walk in the kitchen, walk out, and forgot what I was supposed to get in the first place. You know, the question I had for Denise, rather. I'm sorry. There's a Denise that I know that's actually with my brother now, who's getting a heart transplant. So I may say Denise. I'm sorry. Yeah, right.
Loopy.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you feel that? And also, Denise, did you lose any weight? Because I lost about 15 pounds in probably less than a week. Did you lose any weight? Yeah. I mean,
maybe like 2 pounds, you know. I mean, like I said, for those 3 days, I was just doing chicken broth, tea, water, and some dry toast. I wasn't eating like I normally eat every 3 hours. So, yeah, the most I lost was maybe 2 pounds. But I was very fatigued. I wasn't loopy like you, but I was very tired. I was a little out of it. Just exhausted, you know.
Right. I got you.
So.
Wow. So, Jay, tell us about your experience.
Well, mine was different. And also, I guess I should point out that I didn't. It's like we took two different paths. Her having the connection to getting the medicine like the Z-Pack, and I don't know if she was able to get hydrochloroquine. Could you have had access to that, and did you opt out of that? I'm just curious.
I could have asked the doctor for it. I didn't want to take that. I wanted to just, like I said, I didn't have the shortness of breath or the heavy cough. So I just wanted to try the Z-Pack and just, stay with that. I didn't want to start taking all this other stuff if I
Right.
didn't really need it. I guess
Right.
if it came to that, I mean, I could have asked the doctor, but I don't think that was something that I really wanted to try. I don't know how
Okay.
safe that is,
Yeah.
It could be kind of hard on your liver too, I heard. So, I was better off just sticking with the Z-Pack.
Okay. Well,
All right, but back to you, Jay.
Yeah. So my experience was more severe, but also, I took a more natural approach, not necessarily by choice. Like once I got diagnosed and, the nurse called me and told me that I had it, I asked her, I was like, is there anything you can prescribe? And, their approach basically was, just get rest and, drink lots of fluids and so on and so forth. But basically they were like, only until you, I guess, feel like you're dying should you go into the hospital. And I guess at that point you're darn near going to be on a ventilator or something like that. But for me, it and like I said, it lasted longer. I had I got tested on the 27th. I started feeling symptoms on about the 22nd, I guess, whatever that Sunday was. That's when it really started hitting me. But and this is the part I don't know is whether it's connected or not, and maybe Denise has an opinion on it. But 2 weeks before that, 2 or 3 weeks before that, I had a really just bad cough. No fever, no pain, no nothing like that. But I had a cough and I actually wound up taking some prescription strength cough medicine, which cleared it up. Then I felt fine. Then, one night, at that time, New York and New Jersey only had the 10-person limit. So we still felt that we, were safe around just a small number of people as long as it was less than 10 and everybody stayed apart. But anyway, at that particular night, I had some wine, woke up the next day, and I believe the alcohol triggered the virus. I truly believe that it triggered it. I'm not saying it caused it, but, obviously when you drink, you get dehydrated and, it has a lot of sugar in it. So I believe that activated the COVID-19 virus, I believe, because I felt like a truck hit me after that. And, my symptoms lasted a little longer, but maybe that's because I didn't have access to the Z-Pack. I was afraid of this hydrochloroquine thing that I kept hearing about. And at bottom line, it wasn't even offered to me as an option, I guess because it hasn't been really tested yet. So body pains, sharp body pains, like somebody stabbing you in the back, crazy chills. My temperature got up to like 102. But then, and I mentioned this in another live broadcast I did, it almost was like the virus was intelligent because at times when I was going to get checked and get tested and get an exam, the virus was hiding. And the doctors couldn't see any symptoms. And it was almost like the virus was intentionally hiding. I had no temperature. I had regular heart rate. I had regular blood pressure. The doctors were literally about to send me home. I just had 102 fever, like 8 hours before going to the office, and the fever goes away. And the fever was one of the main things that, they kind of use as an indicator as far as you being sick. And the virus was like almost intelligent, knew I was in the doctor's office and hid. And then when I got home, it jumped back up, You know, it's like, yeah, all right, go to the doctor. And you know, I actually had to make a fake cough in the doctor's office to make their antenna pop up. It just jumped in my head to cough. As soon as I cough, they're like, oh, you know, and next thing I know, I'm seeing the doctor. Well, I didn't see the doctor. They're so shook. He actually yelled across the hall at me. He was like, yeah, how you feeling? He came nowhere near me, nowhere. You know, I couldn't even tell you how tall he was. All I saw was him sitting at his desk, and I saw a mask. I saw a man in a mask. That was it. So, you know, he kept the distance from me. And then of course I got tested, and they jammed the stick in my nose, and that was really uncomfortable. And they also tested me for flu and strep. And I do want to ask, Denise, you know, when they check you, do they check you for strep and flu? Because I actually like that. I mean, it's uncomfortable having something jammed in your nose and jammed in your throat like that.
Yeah.
But at least at the end of that screening, when I saw I was negative for strep and negative for flu, I knew, even though I had to wait 5 days, I had a 90% chance of having corona. So I had to wait, but I pretty much knew.
Yeah, I didn't get tested for the flu or the strep. They just did the other swab, the one that you got. I didn't get the flu and the strep test because I didn't even go into work. I just called the doctor that I work for, and he was like, I'm gonna call in the Z-Pack, just drink fluids and hydrate and all that. And that's, but I didn't get all the tests that you got done.
Yeah. What is the Z-Pack? What is the Z-Pack? It's just is it a package of pills you're taking? What is it? What does it look like?
Well, it's an antibiotic. It's just a 5-day, course of antibiotics. It's azithromycin. That's what they were trying on patients in the hospital. They were giving that with the other medication that you had mentioned. But, I don't think it's something. I probably didn't need it. I think I more panicked and just asked for it right away. But I guess, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe taking it, on the first sight of the symptoms, that it helped faster, helped to push it out faster. Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows because there's so much, uncertainty. But
so you took one pill a day for X amount of days? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's only 5 days. It's just a 5-day course, but it stays in your system for up to 10 days.
But it's one pill a day. Is that
the first day is 2 pills. Every other day is 1 pill. Okay.
Any side effects?
I had some stomach cramping, but that was the only thing. But like you were saying before, that when you went, you didn't have any symptoms, like all your vitals were fine, you had no fever, you weren't coughing. But that still doesn't mean that you didn't have it already in you, because you could be a carrier. You could still be contagious and have the infection in you, but you're not having symptoms yet, because there's still that incubation period. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that doesn't really mean anything. So you could be around somebody and they have no symptoms, but they're a carrier, and they could be infecting other people, or they're contagious. You just don't know it yet, because the symptoms actually, they haven't come out yet. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. So as a healthcare worker, that must be scary. The fact that somebody might be asymptomatic and you can't tell, but they're walking into your healthcare facility.
That's why we give everybody a mask. We all have masks on. We have gloves. We have the patients wait outside in their car. So when we have a room available for them, we just call them, okay, you can come inside now, and we stick them right into the room. So we don't have everybody that's sick in the same waiting room. We don't do that. So that
Are you
that was
back
a
at
good
work
plus.
now?
Oh yeah.
Are you back at work now?
Yes, I am. I went back. Mm-hmm.
How soon?
Was there any?
Oh, go ahead. Now, I was just curious.
How soon?
If I'm not mistaken, you went back pretty quick. So you think you had the virus for how many days, and then how many days did you have to wait before they took you back? Like, and also, were they nervous about you coming back?
I think all my coworkers were a little nervous about me being around them. But according to the CDC guidelines, if you're a healthcare worker, you can go back. If you have a negative test result, you can go back 7 days, as long as you're symptom free for 72 hours without the use of Tylenol or Advil or anything that's going to reduce your fever. So I went back. I was only out for 7 days, but I had to make sure that I was totally symptom free, no fever, anything for 72 hours. And then I was allowed to go back. But if you have a positive result, you have to be out for 14 days and you still have to be symptom free for those 72 hours before you can go back.
Okay.
So
wow. So even though you follow the CDC guidelines and you're able to go back if you don't show any symptoms for 7 days, how did your coworkers treat you?
well, we all have a mask on. I mean, we all have the N95 mask. So, you know, we try to stay apart from each other. You know, like I said, we wear our gloves. You know, we keep our mask on. We Lysol down, bleach the rooms and everything. So we just, you know, we try to keep our distance. You know, I mean, everybody there is family. We all get along. You know, I wasn't coughing on anybody, so they weren't too scared. You know, but I felt better. I was 100% better by the time I went back. So.
Yeah. But you
I
still have a
guess.
link. You still, because right before the show, you and I both coughed a little bit. So do you
Yeah, I'm
still have a
coughing a little
lingering
bit.
cough? Okay. Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Right.
I went to work yesterday and my coworkers are like, why are you still coughing like that? I'm like, it's okay, guys. I have the mask on. They're like, yeah, but maybe you should go home. You're still coughing. I'm like,
Hey, you know, it's funny because I mean, like it's not a chronic cough, but I did notice like one time I went shopping at Food Bazaar for people in other parts of the country that are watching that. That's one of, it's like a ShopRite or a Publix or whatever's near you. But they're really social distancing now. I mean, they've got the shields up at the cash register. I don't know if that's something that's
yes.
going on across the country. They're no longer taking cash. So you gotta, yeah, they're up here. Because I like to pay in primarily cash, but of course I keep my debit card on me. But yeah, they are not taking cash, and I'm actually glad that they're not taking cash because, I'm not sure how I caught it, but I feel like I caught it off of money, and they don't really talk about that. But I was in my previous broadcast, I was talking about like Corona bombs, and a Corona bomb to me is like, in some cases, unnecessary situation that is created by people that I call a Corona bomb. For example, I see you looking at me, Seiko, like a family excursion to Walmart. That is a Corona bomb. It's unnecessary.
Right.
If you've got enough if you have enough adults to keep an eye on the kids, this is not a trip to Disneyland now. Disneyland is closed. Disneyland is closed. So there you have it, and, bringing the kids out, just to give them some exercise in a public setting where the kids could be carriers, be asymptomatic. They're touching everything. They're touching their face. They're touching face or not. Even when I have a face mask on, I have a face mask, that I was taking out. But, I wear glasses. They don't talk about this. You're constantly going like this. You can't help it. So your hand is going by your nose all the time. You wear glasses.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about. So I probably caught it. And a Corona bomb to me is money, exchanging money. Bob has the virus. He's not going to announce it when he goes to get his eggs and milk or whatever. He's going to hand the money to the cashier. She's going to hand the change to you. Now you got Corona money. That's a Corona bomb. Same thing with fast food. Look, people, and any service job, you need your money. You're living check to check, basically. So you go to I honestly was, not to be paranoid. I don't want to be paranoid, but I mean, you just got to think. Somebody's in the service industry. They're serving food. Even if they're feeling just a little under the weather, 9 times out of 10, they're going to go to work. Okay, now they're making the wrapping, and they're wrapping your taco, wrapping your burger, and then they're, putting it in the bag. They're handing it to you. I actually went to Taco Bell.
Pause. You scared me, bro.
I'm sorry, bro. Listen, I had a guy from Taco Bell hand me the package. He wasn't even wearing gloves. That's a Corona bomb to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm trying to cook more at home. I hate to say it because I feel bad for those people that haven't caught it, like you haven't caught it, Seiko. But I do feel now less worried about catching it because I already caught it. I don't know how long I'm going to be immune to it, but I'm at least hoping, because we all know there's going to be different waves of this thing. But I'm hoping now that I've been exposed to it that I don't have as severe symptoms. I don't know. What are your feelings on it since you had it and you had less severe symptoms? But how do you feel about it? Do you feel like you're protected now?
I don't know if we're 100% protected. That's the question that everybody keeps asking. I mean, I'm hoping that we have the antibodies now and that we've built up some type of immunity to it. I know that they have a blood test that's going to be out. It's like a finger stick where you can check your titer to see, do you have the antibodies? Are you immune or not immune? I don't think it's clear waived yet, so I don't know when it's going to be coming out or when officers are actually getting it. But that would be good to know.
Wait,
You
you said
know,
it's a stick? What did you say it was?
it's supposed to be a finger stick. You know how, like, if you check your sugar, like if you're diabetic and you do like a
Oh,
finger stick,
yeah.
right? So it's supposed to be something like that. But we don't have it yet. I don't know when it's coming out for sure. But
So you would have to go to a health facility or outpatient care place,
yeah,
and they would stick your finger and tell you if your body has like antibodies, like if you've been exposed to it.
right,
Basically.
exactly. Yep, exactly.
All right, I
So
want to start over. This is the Fly Guys Show. I'm your man Seiko Varner at Seiko Varner, the Power Broker. We have DJ Wright and we have Pretty Blue Eyes. We have Jay and Denise. They both have overcome COVID-19. Jay was down for a couple of weeks and Denise was down for a week. And they're kind of expressing and discussing their experiences having survived COVID-19. So, Jay, you were just talking and you were asking Denise about the possibility of being immune to it after you've fought it off. So is that something that the medical establishment is looking at, Denise?
yeah, they're looking into it. I mean, hopefully we get it soon. I don't know if we're getting it. I don't know when. I just know that there was talk of it coming out so that people can check and see if they have the antibodies, so that when we get this second wave that supposedly is coming in the fall, um, maybe if you get it, you won't get it as strong next time, or maybe you won't get it at all. Who knows? Like I said, there's so much uncertainty. Nobody really has any clear answers right
Yeah,
now. So
yeah. I mean,
I
and
guess,
I have to say, as somebody I really I felt like this thing was trying to kill me. You know,
Mm,
I have a sister who's a nurse and an administrator down in Virginia, and I thank God that I had a relative in the medical field because I was able to reach out to her when I started getting the real bad fever, and she started giving me some tips. And I guess, in this second part of this show, I can discuss the natural things that, because some of us may not have access to the Z-Pack or, maybe the erythromycin or whatever that is that you keep hearing them talking about on TV. Maybe that is dangerous to you. Because I know I've heard that it reacts with certain diabetic medication. So if somebody's a diabetic and they take that experimental drug that hasn't been proven, it could put them in a much worse situation or even kill them. But
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So why don't we talk more about your experience, Jay? Let's talk about your experience, Jay. What did you do in terms of what you ate, what you consumed, and what you did behaviorally to combat what you experienced?
Well, and also, I mean, Denise, you could chime in at any point, but I mean, the main thing that I did was I drank a lot of water. I was murdering water. I was drinking, and I really had no choice because I was dehydrated. I don't know how dehydrated you were, but I,
yeah, I felt the same.
yeah, like you wake up, you feel like you were in the middle of the desert, for 2 months, and you're just like
Yes.
parched. You're like, oh my God, water. So, but I would say even before you get sick, you should try and drink a gallon of water a day. I know that sounds like a lot, but and once again, I'm not a medical professional, but my take on it is the people that are getting pneumonia and getting really thick, dangerous, deadly phlegm in their chest, that green, that yellow phlegm, they're probably not drinking enough water, you know, because my experience was because among other things, because I was drinking so much water and I was staying hydrated, I was kind of like, not directly, but rinsing out my lungs. So when I did bring up phlegm, it was completely clear. And I was keeping a very close eye on that anytime anything came up, you know, which wasn't a lot. Sometimes I just cough, but, you know, anytime anything came up, I would, you know, check the color of it, because I knew if it started turning like green or yellow, that I was in deep trouble. Was I right by thinking that? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think water is great. You know, water flushes out everything, all the toxins, and keeps keeps everything flowing. Water's probably the best thing for you. You know,
Yeah,
when you're sick, that's what they say. They just want to push fluids. You know, so that's really, you did
yeah,
the right thing. You know, I mean, tea,
yeah,
obviously, anything hot helps too. You know, like you said, you
yeah,
were breathing in. You had boiled like some oranges and some other stuff. You were breathing in steam, and
yeah,
that's good too. Anything to clean out your sinuses,
yeah.
so you did all the right things. I mean,
Yeah, and when you steam, you know, it's very simple. My pot wasn't this small, but anyway, just basic. Damn, with a camera. Okay, yeah, it's basically a pot, and then you know you put the towel over your head like you're a boxer, because if you're just standing over it, just basically drape it over your head and get as close as you possibly can to the pot. And I mean, I was getting as close as I could to the pot. Like my nostrils were burning. So I was taking it like maybe 10 breaths inhalations through my nose and 10 through my mouth, like deep breaths. And then, you know, it does get super hot, and I would just back up, cool off a little bit, and then just go back down and just repeat the process. But I would try and do that for about a minute. I was doing that about like 3 times a day. Cause like I said, I took, you know, I wasn't offered the medicine approach, so I took the natural approach that my sister offered. Also,
Hey Jay,
yeah,
before you continue, Jay,
yeah.
quick question. Kim, one of our dynasty members, asked, should N95 masks be worn one time per shift? So I guess to you, Denise, they're wondering if you switched out your N95 mask each shift, or if you switched them out every 15 minutes, or was it once a day?
well,
Answer Kim's question.
they should be switched every shift. You know, at the end of the shift, you should throw it in the garbage. You shouldn't reuse it at all. But like I said, in the very beginning, we were short on N95, so I was reusing mine, something I probably shouldn't have done, but at that point I didn't have a choice. So it should be switched every single shift, you know.
Right.
I guess if you had an abundance of them, then you could switch it every single patient, but that's not realistic in the time that we're living in right now. So I just, at the end of my shift, I throw it away. The next day, I just start with a clean one. But in the beginning, I was, like I said, I was using the same one for a week straight, and I was just spraying it down with alcohol or Lysol and reusing it the next day, which I don't think that was the greatest thing to do. But, when you don't have a choice, I guess it's, you just make the best of it. You improvise. So.
Yeah.
All right. So Andy Bond says, thank you for the practical tips, but not only you're showing that it can be successfully fought. And thank you for your strength. Jay, you were saying that you did some other things in addition to the pot and the blanket. So what were some of those other things you were doing?
Yeah. About 2 or 3 times a day. And please don't let this intimidate you. I was using the neti pot, and I forgot to mention the last time. And this is funny because, I mean, I'm a guy, and there may be guys that have sinus conditions that are familiar with this device that use it, but I've only vaguely heard women mention a neti pot. And it's spelled NETI pot. If you want to order it off of Amazon, or you can get it at like CVS or Walgreens, anything like that. And because you don't really hear people talking about it on the national media, it shouldn't be hard to find, like, say, toilet paper or, water, or things that they're like selling out like hotcakes and stuff like that. But basically, and I just want to say this first, you don't need to use this whole device in one sitting. This lasts me for about 2 or 3 days. Okay. But basically you, and I'm glad the video is not reversed like it was for me the other show. Basically, you get a product like this. This is called Neil Med, but it's a neti pot. You can get any neti pot. There are packets inside the box that you can add to this. Also, if you want, or even if you don't have access to it, if you have any type of device that will allow you to get liquid into your nose, you know, you could do this, that, you could do bottled water, not tap water, and either this solution or just, I was using sea salt in the beginning, you know, and you just pour this into your nose, left and right nostril. It's going to feel like you're jumping in a pool, which that sometimes the wrong way, the water shoots up your nose. It sucks the first time you do it, but you don't have to use the whole pot. I don't want people using the whole pot the whole time, but I would stretch it out and use it like 2 or 3 times a day. And that would last me like, you know, 2 days or so. And I feel like this is a good preventative measure because say if you go out, you go shopping, you run errands, you know, people always say, wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. But, you know, you don't hear them say, rinse your nose, rinse your damn nose. The only reason they're telling you to wash your hands is because you're going to touch your nose. So this is B, you know, your hand. I keep having trouble. This is B. A is your nose. Corona wants to get in your nose, get strong, get in your lungs, and kill you. So if you go out, and really even before you go out, just rinse your nose with a neti pot or anything that can drain water into your nose. Just don't use tap water because you don't want to give yourself an infection. God knows what's in your water. Use bottled water, Poland Springs or whatever. Add a little salt. That makes it basically saline. And that's what saved me from going to the hospital. It was already hitting me hard, but I was rinsing out the virus every day because it's building up. It's in there, it's attached, it's feeding, it's growing. I was rinsing it out. So I knew I wasn't going to stop it or cure it with this. But, you know, by the time it got down to my lungs, I really wasn't having trouble breathing. So it was a weakened version of Corona that got in my lungs. I'm still coughing, but I can't stress that enough. And then, you know, if you have any other questions, I mean, I do have 1 or 2 other things I want to show, but, you know, a lot of it she mentioned, taking the tea, hydrating, a gallon a day. But I think, and you could let me know, Denise, what your thoughts on. I think if somebody's doing this 2 or 3 times a day,
yeah, definitely. That's what the doctor said. Yeah, rinse your sinuses out like 5 times a day. Just keep rinsing it. So, like you said, so you don't want it to get into your lungs. You know, it's a great idea.
Yeah, but I mean,
quick question. Jenna Kilby Swanson asks about infrared saunas. What says you? Infrared saunas? Either one of you heard about that?
No.
I don't know what that is.
I don't think there's any saunas open though right now.
Yeah, if you got a sauna in your house, rock with it. But I don't have access to one. But I mean, I will say the coronavirus doesn't like heat. It doesn't like heat.
Right.
So any heat you can get. But I mean, everybody's got a pot. Everybody's got a pot. You know,
and a shower.
And a shower. I mean, I was so, you know, worried about the virus. I did do the showering, you know, but I wanted it really, really like nuclear hot. Like there's shower hot, and then there's like I might burn my nostrils out hot. And maybe I don't listen. I'm not gonna say I was paranoid, but I was worried. Like I was, because this thing makes you pass out. Did you ever feel like you were gonna pass out? Did you ever feel like you? Yeah. I like the chair I'm sitting in right now. I was laying in the bed for several days, and I just felt like I needed to get out of the bed and just sit up. I tried to sit up, and it felt like dots were being built up in front of my eyes, like a brick wall. And I felt like I immediately dove in the bed. So what I'm trying to say is, I thought I was going to die, and I actually was so concerned. My sister has my contact information, but I sent her my address and my contact information, like just in case I was so out of it or unconscious that, you know, nobody could reach me. I wanted her to be able to call 911 and tell them exactly, you know, where I am. Cause this thing is no joke. I'm glad she had a mild experience, but I felt like that thing was trying to kill me. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's good that you got up and move around. You don't want to lay flat all the time because that's how you do get pneumonia. When you just lay flat and lay still and you don't get up and move around, everything settles. You don't want anything to settle in your lungs. So that's the best thing you could do is get up and move around, even though you were a little out of it. But, you know.
Yeah. I got a question for
So
you.
are you
Seiko.
able to exercise? You said moving around helps,
Well, I'm
but
just
you
saying,
mentioned
get up.
earlier.
You know, but you can't just stay in bed and lay flat because everything's going to settle in your lungs. You know, that they say the best thing is to get up and at least walk around your house. I'm not talking about exercising and moving fast. I'm just saying get up, you know, walk around the different rooms in your house or your apartment and just be upright, you know, and move around
But
so that
all
you.
Yeah, but also another thing I'll say about this, and I didn't get a chance to ask you about this. I'm curious about your experience with it. I don't know if it's, being mild, it's different. But the thing I noticed about this virus, and this is like why I almost felt like it was like a person, an evil person trying to kill me, is it kind of comes and goes and makes you think it's going away, and then it comes back and it kicks your behind. My
Yeah.
temperature was all over the place. It was 102. Then it was normal. Then it was a little low. Then it
Yeah,
was
same
102.
here.
Then it was normal. Then it was low. And when you see a normal temperature, your initial thought, and this is like any other, not like the regular flu. Normally the flu is like you feel a temperature, it starts going down, it stays down, it goes away. But this one was actually messing with me. And also it was making me feel at some points that it actually had gone away.
Yeah.
And there were times where I was deathly sick. Then I'm up cleaning my room. I'm cleaning
Yeah,
my room.
same. Yeah,
I
same
I
here.
feel this burst of energy. And like I said, it's like I've never had a sickness mess with my mind so much, where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm coming out of it. And then you start cleaning your house, and then it's like, yeah, go ahead, clean your house. I'm good. I'm going away. Psych. Boom, right in your face, and you're bedridden, chills, and you feel like you're dying. You
Yeah,
know,
I know. I know.
I
I felt the same way you did.
that's great, and that's the thing that you don't really. So
For a
I,
couple hours, you might feel fine, and you're like, you get this boost energy, like you said. You're like, oh, I can go, I could clean up. I could, maybe go to the kitchen, do a couple things, and then, boom, all of a sudden, the body aches come on strong again. The fever comes back. Yeah, it
yeah,
messes with you.
and
Yeah,
and and
definitely.
and I would categorize myself as a pretty much an insomniac. Like I don't sleep long. I sleep like 3 or 4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and then I usually have to get up. I might go to sleep again later on in the day, but I really can't sleep more than three to 5 hours. I know you're supposed to do like 8 or 9, but even still now, I'm not really having symptoms and coughing that much. But um, I find that I'm sleeping a lot harder. So I think my body's still fighting this. Like I'll
Yeah.
sleep 8, 9 hours. At the worst, I was sleeping almost like 12, 14, 15 hours, like waking up and
Mm-hmm.
not knowing whether it's sunrise or sunset. I was out so daggone long. So
Yeah.
yeah, and also since Seiko has this link up, thank you so much, Seiko. In addition to me recovering from Corona, B, my employment is in public settings, restaurants, bars, clubs, weddings, birthday parties, all the things that have been shut down by, this virus. So I'm temporarily out of work until I find another, either revenue stream or type of career. So, and also my brother, who had a traumatic incident this past Sunday, um, where his defibrillator, he's a young guy too. He's only 48, but he had a heart condition as a child. It got progressively worse. He had to get a defibrillator. The defibrillator started shocking him and basically almost took him out. Luckily, somebody was in his apartment and called 911, went to the hospital. Anyway, his heart is so damaged now, he's actually on the operating table as we speak right now, getting a heart transplant. That being said, he's on a disability. So he's going to need some financial help. They don't give you that much money. And, I just need need to stay on my feet. So I would love to see if I can get enough to actually go down and see him. I'm not going to go down and see him now. Can you put that graphic back up, Seiko? I'm sorry. The graphic I just saw at the bottom. But anyway, that's the website that you can go to if you like to donate to the situation. It's GoFundMe.com/F COVID-19. That's me, and transplant my brothers. And any donation you could give would be greatly appreciated. If you're working, if you're not working, I appreciate prayers. Prayer helps everybody. So, please go check that out. GoFundMe.com, COVID-19 and Transplant Brothers. All right.
Wow. Denise, what are some of the experiences that you've seen some of the other COVID-19 patients struggling with?
A lot of people got pneumonia, really bad shortness of breath, severe cough, body aches. I mean, the worst is just the pneumonia when your lungs fill up with fluid. That's a lot of patients have that. That's probably the worst that I've seen. We don't deal with the extremely bad patients. Obviously they have to go to the ER, but the patients that did come in, that are trying to stay out of the ER, all we can do is give them, the same thing, the azithromycin, and just give them an inhaler or maybe give them a nebulizer. They can do it at home because we can't run those in the office anymore. But that's basically it. I mean,
Do you know anybody that's died?
not personally. I mean, I've heard, I know my son's, well, not my son's, but the middle school in this town, the principal has passed away. One of his teachers, her father passed away. Um, I don't know anybody personally, thank God, that's passed away of it. Just, stories I hear from, maybe my old coworkers, they now work in a hospital, their coworkers have passed away. So, just things that I see on Facebook, but, thank God I don't know anybody personally yet. So,
Being that you have children, were you worried of passing it on to your kids, or do you think that your kids might have given it to you, perhaps?
well, my
And
older son doesn't live with me. My 10-year-old lives with me. So, yes, I was worried that I was going to pass it on to the 10-year-old. We tried to stay in separate rooms. I wore my mask at home whenever possible when I wasn't, drinking tea or, trying to eat something. But, yeah, I mean, that's all we could do is separate, and I just wear my mask. I mean,
were you
you know,
worried? Were you worried, like cooking for him and stuff like that?
I mean, I washed my hands as much as possible. But then, I was also, I was discussing with my cousin, she's a nurse practitioner, and she was saying it may be better if he did get a little touch of it, so that, he could possibly build up some immunity to it. So in a way, I was kind of, hoping, okay, well, whatever is meant to be is meant to be. Maybe he'll get it and then he'll build up the immunity. So when it comes back in fall, he'll be okay. But it didn't happen. He didn't get sick, which I'm thankful he didn't get sick. But like I said, whatever is meant to be is meant to be, so we just got to let nature take its course and let nature decide what's going to happen.
So how nervous are you about sending him back to school once the schools open up?
Very nervous.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the vaccine comes out in the fall, but then the question is how many people, are they going to test this vaccine on? Is it going to be harmful in any way? I think that's every parent's concern about sending their kids back to school. What's going to happen, and is it going to be the same strain that comes back in the fall? If it does come back, there's, there's
Yeah,
just,
because I think some people still might be under the impression it's going to be a one-time thing that's just going to sweep over. Like, Ebola is, gone. SARS, you don't really hear talking about that. What is it? Mad cow disease. You don't hear about that anymore, But oh, there you go. There's your son, cute. So, and she cooks. So, this thing is going to be like the flu, and it's going to, I believe, and I guess you believe that too, it's going to come back in different forms. And especially once a vaccine comes out, if it's a type of vaccine that kills the virus, which most vaccines, or can do,
right.
Either increase your antibodies or kill the virus, the virus is going to get stronger. I'm pretty sure we're all pretty much in the same age bracket. We remember when, before you catch the flu, you catch bronchitis, they give you some penicillin, cough, cough, and it's done, But now, things like the flu, you got to get a shot every year. That didn't exist when we were kids. That didn't exist. They say, oh, OJ and rest and you're good. But I guess.
So are we weaker?
No,
are we a weaker nation?
The virus is stronger. We might be weaker. A lot of people are working out less and, we're an overweight country. But basically, every time you expose the virus. It's the same thing with the animal life and plant life. You know, the roach spray that you might have used when, you know, when you to kill a roach, you know, 10, 20 years ago, the roach is going to get resilient to that. When the world ends, there's pretty much just going to be roaches left. So, you know, same thing with the virus, you know, I'm just saying, you know, and some people think it's coming sooner than later, but you know, the virus, once it got introduced to penicillin, it was resistant to penicillin. Then they came out with amoxicillin, you know, and now you just have to get you're probably going to have to get a virus shot every winter. And I have a theory, and you let me know what you think about this, Denise, but I have a theory that because this particular virus doesn't seem to be affected by weather as much as, you know, say the flu, you know, where it's just like relegated to just winter. I don't know. What are your thoughts on the possibility of it being a biannual vaccination as opposed to just an annual vaccination?
Well, they're saying, I mean, I guess it thrives in the colder weather. So that's what I heard anyway.
Yeah, but
So
it's in California and stuff like that, and Florida, maybe not strong. How bad is it in Virginia, Seiko? You're kind of in a moderate climate.
Wow, that's a great question. I'm in the house. You know, I get a chance to work from home. You know, my entertainment business died. You know, that it's non-existent anymore. For the time being. You know, hopefully it'll return. But the climate is beautiful out here. I'm looking out my window now, and it's nice and sunny. It was 75 degrees the other day. It's actually kind of.
Are you hearing about cases? That's what I'm saying. Like, is your governor giving daily?
Man, you know what? Our governor is doing an excellent job of updates. Updates are coming. We're actually watching Cuomo a lot, man. So what you guys got going up top, that's, you know, Governor Cuomo's doing an excellent job, but I can't keep up with the numbers. Just the way my mind works. I just can't keep up with the numbers that way. I know that there are far more cases in your area, in your neck of the woods, up top, you know, New York, New Jersey, than Virginia, but it's not good. It's definitely not good. It's definitely not good.
Listen, man, I heard from another DJ friend down in Virginia that clubs and stuff is still open down there. Is that true? Because to me, that's insane. I swear,
yeah, crazy.
I heard down in Virginia that there's clubs still open. Now, the messed up thing is, if they are still open, I might be coming down to stay with you for a little bit, Seiko, because I need to work. I'll just mail my rent up to New York. You know what I'm saying? I'll just mail it up. But
right. Well, from my understanding, it's certain types of clubs are still open.
That's crazy.
Certain types of clubs.
What type of club?
You know, I did upscale events. I did wedding receptions. I did corporate events. I did proms. If you're looking for a particular type of entertainment that you can't get at home for some reason.
Are you talking about strip clubs?
Then I understand that those clubs.
Well, listen,
it's not something I frequent. It's not something I frequent, you know, for the last 25 years.
Yeah, but listen, bro. To me, that is insane. That is a corona bomb. Think about it. You got young women, and you know, I've DJ'd everywhere, so I'm not passing judgment on anybody. But you know, you've got right now with this coronavirus, you got young women hopping in the laps of older men. That's a corona bomb. Sorry.
That's like a breeding spot.
Yeah, she's gonna
jump in. It's a breeding spot for bacteria. Yeah.
There's no 6 feet. There's no 6 foot distance lap dance. No. So anyway, that's crazy. And you know, I got look, more power to Virginia. You know, and like I said, I mean, if there are clubs that are open, I'm not even gonna front. Like, I might come down there and DJ down there and just mail the money up top, you know, to get by. But I do, and honestly, if I hadn't caught corona, I definitely wouldn't be putting myself in that environment. That is crazy. All clubs, all bars, everything shut down. You look at Times Square, it looks like a ghost town. You've seen it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, you know what's interesting? There's a faction rather, not a fraction, but a faction that's pushing the legislature to allow the beauty salons and the barbershops to open under similar conditions that the restaurants are in. So in the restaurant now, it can't be more than 5 or 10 people in the restaurant. All the restaurants have kind of gone through drive-through, but to pick up the food, you can walk in as long as they're under 8 people in that restaurant. So they're moving toward, well, there's a faction that's pushing for barbers and beauty stylists to be able to do hair if they're geared up, if they have on the masks and they're under a certain amount of people. What are your thoughts?
Would you do that, Denise? Would you go to a restaurant where there's 5 to 10 people sitting right now?
No, I wouldn't even take the chance. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I mean, yeah,
I wouldn't do it. I don't know. That's just me. I mean, I wouldn't do that. You know, I don't even like to order out, to be honest. I've been cooking, you know, like I cook every night. So I'm just, you know, I'm nervous because you don't know the person that's preparing your food. You know, did they cough and sneeze? Did they change their gloves throughout the shift? Did they use the bathroom and not wash their hands? Like, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I personally, I wouldn't go out to eat even if there was only 4 people in the restaurant. And I haven't been doing takeout either. So I don't know, but everybody opinions are different, so I don't know.
yeah, and
I wouldn't.
Yeah, and I notice, of course, the country, just different people I've talked to around the country, they have a different level of caution about it. Like my sister living, you know, the nurse down in Virginia, you know, she's telling me people, you know, the parking lots are crowded. You know, we have limits on how many people can go into stores now. I don't know if that's down in Virginia. It didn't sound like that from the last report I got from my sister. But and see, I even though I'm relatively less worried about catching it again as severe as I caught it, I'm still nervous about being in, like, you know, public settings because you never know.
Right. You never know. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, look, we have about 3 minutes left. I want to get to last words. We're going to have the women have the last word first. So, Pretty Blue Eyes, Sister Denise, last words.
I think everybody should just, you know, stay home for right now. I think everybody should just, you know, take their vitamins, keep their immune system strong, maybe try to get some exercise in the house, drink plenty of fluids, and, you know, just keep to yourself, you know, just protect yourself. That's really about it, you know. But
Good
everybody
stuff.
stay
Good
safe.
stuff.
Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Well, hopefully you've saved some lives, and I'm glad that you're doing healthy. I'm glad that you only were impacted for 1 week. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. My partner, my old business partner, my friend since 1986, brother
Great.
Jay Wright, DJ Jay Wright, aka DJ Sweat.
Yeah.
And we won't talk about what you were sweating. Last words, brother. Last words.
Yeah, you know what it was? We were in the student union. It was hot. That's where the sweat came from. But anyway, that was called the sweat box. So anyway, I was doing the right thing in the sweat box. Anyway, Neti Pot, look it up. Look at YouTube videos and stuff. This for the fever. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is Eucalyptus. Eucalyptus. You can find it at any CVS, Walmart, Walgreens. I was adding that to the steam. It's not going to kill the virus because this virus is very potent, but it gives it a run for its money and it helps weaken it. I was actually using that in addition to this. This is a dry, Vicks dry, I guess, humidifier, real small. I used to sleep with it like right on my chest and inhale the vapor. You can buy this once again at any CVS, Walgreens, and everybody just like stay safe. And oh, listen, my black and brown people, listen, lay off that alcohol, man. You know, I'm trying to tell you, I believe that thing dehydrated me and sort of activated activated the virus. I know we want to, have our virtual happy hours and sip that wine and stuff, but I don't think this is the time to be dehydrated. But alcohol dehydrates you, and it has tons of sugar in it, and can help weaken your immune system. A gallon of water a day, man. I can't stress that enough. Lay off the alcohol. If you smoke, I know it's hard, but that compromises your lungs as well. So that's all I pretty much got to say. And I thank God that I made it through this, man. I thank God.
God bless you.
Yes, I thought I was going to die. This virus, once it gets in your body, especially if you have any type of compromised immune system, it wants to kill you. Oh, yes. And please visit my brother and I's site. Feel free to make a donation and stuff like that. And hey, any job leads, hit me on my Instagram or Facebook. I'm a very talented college educated brother. I will sweep floors, clean windows, and who knows? I might be doing DoorDash. I might be knocking on your door. As soon as I'm sure I won't cough on your burrito. I don't want to cough on your burrito. But
All right, and Nancy's coughing. You got me scared. My Hampton University good brother. Hey, look, we're so glad that both of you are safe, that both of you are healthy, that both of you are still here with us. You've been watching the Fly Guys show. I'm your man, Seiko Varner, the Power Broker. We had DJ Wright, and we had the beautiful Blue Eyes, and pretty Blue Eyes, the beautiful, pretty Blue Eyes, Sister Denise on the show with us tonight. We thank you for watching, and you guys be safe out there. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. Drink a lot of water, and be at peace.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.